feature extraction from the acoustic signals. Okay. Before I talk about the feature extraction, I would like to define a phoneme. So what is a phone? Phone basically is a word for sound, and phoneme is a unit of sound. And more specifically, it's a specifically a distinguishable unit of sound in a language. Okay. So there are limited number of phonemes in a language. So how do you get features from these phonemes? So phonemes are categorized specifically into 16 categories in English. For example, आपको बताता हूँ. So one feature of a phoneme can be nasal. So is this word a nasal, or is this phoneme a nasal phoneme or not? ठीक है? So what does nasal mean? Nasal means that air flows through the nasal cavity when you are pronouncing this phoneme, or this phoneme is coming out of your uh, vocal system. Air flow through nasal cavity. So for example, the word meme in Urdu, meme, it uses the flow of air through the nasal cavity. If you, या noon, दोनों कह सकते हैं. तो if you close your nose और कहने की कोशिश करें, you'll see कि it cannot be pronounced properly without the air flow from the nasal cavity. ठीक है, कोशिश करके देखें कि you say noon, closing your nose with your fingers, noon बोल के देखें आप. ठीक है, तो these letters or these phonemes would require this airflow through the nasal cavity. Okay, so this is one feature. Similarly, there is this feature called the velar feature, and that means moving your tongue to the back, to the top of your mouth near the velum. So that's the top of the mouth. Okay? So that's moving back of tongue near velum. Okay? So for example, the phonemes corresponding to kaf and gaf, or the jeem, they require uh, your tongue to move towards the top, the back of the tongue towards the top. So kaf, you say kaf, and gaf, that would require that kind of thing. Similarly, there are other features. In English, as I said, they can be classified into 16 features. Urdu में थोड़े से ज़्यादा है. One of the examples is the rounded feature, which requires your lips to um, become round, or rounding of lips. So, for example, you say wow. When you say wow, and you say words containing this kind of a rounding lips, so you say wow, or you say to, and you will see that it requires the rounding of your lips to get this sound out. See? So there are several of these that you can find online. Okay, there's a standard list of 16 for the English language, और उसके अंदर वो defined है. Now what you would want to do is, you have this sound wave, see, and you say okay, you discretize it into these time steps, and you say okay, what phoneme does this time step correspond to? And this discretization basically means that you're not using the real time sound wave. You apply some sort of transformations like FFT, जो बहुत standard है signal processing में, to determine कि okay, the first time step, discrete time step, this
FFT
one
क्या
feature,
चीज है?
fast Fourier transform. And similarly at time step 2, this is one of the features, and time step 3, this is one of the features, and you would have multiple of these kind of graphs to say okay, this is what's happening in these discrete time steps, and we combine these features. So as I said, here you have multiple of these graphs corresponding to these features. See? And you say okay, let's combine these features in the first time step and say what phoneme does this correspond to. See, so that's what is happening when we talk about features, and how we can connect this to our classification model. Okay, you have a set of features and you're trying to classify it given these uh, limited set of classes, which in the case of Urdu would be 60, 65.